I know there's lots of places here. I'm not allowed to take videos, so you're going to get a lot of small videos instead of a nice long one. But I've just left the strategic planning classroom and I'm going to head this direction. Okay. So this hall that I was in earlier before coming to the strategic planning, I mentioned that it was what we would consider martial arts, but it's not quite what we in the West might consider martial arts, because this was more along the lines of spears and what was the other one? I think slings, etc. Is where that was. Now over here is where we would consider martial arts to have been held. A judo hall, and you could even see on the sign there, the wooden sign next to that door as I'm walking up to it. Okay. Bottom there says Daiichi Budojo. That means the first martial arts classroom. And all of these, there's 3 of them here, all down this is all for martial arts. So at one point in a day here, in a class day, you could probably be doing, there'd probably be a judo class here, and maybe karate down there, aikido down there, all in one shot. Now when I was working here a couple times, when we had homestay groups from America come, my Aikido sensei and I would come and we'd give, you know, little quick classes. This is what Aikido is like, this is what karate is like, to the homestay groups. And this is exactly where we did them. So they would come and they'd have their little tour of Nishinkan. There's the other side of our pool. And then we'd come to, usually, not this one, but the second one down there where that fence is, and we'd give them a little demonstration class. Okay, let's go head this direction. Okay. Ooh, this would be cool. There's a young man up here who's feeding the carp. Let's go check this out. Look at all those mouths. Just waiting to be fed. Now what they don't realize is that our young friend has moved. He is now down there. But they are still waiting for the food. Look at that. Waiting for the food. Feed me, feed me. Kind of a disgusting sight, actually. Okay, a little place to take a break. Ooh, Gatorade. I didn't know they sold Gatorade anymore. Anyway, we're going to move on. Alright, so let's come down here real quick. I want to show you something that I know is here that not a lot of other people know is here. This is the Kyudo Hall down here. Kyudo is Japanese archery, and the reason I know it's here is because Kawachu is one of the few Japanese junior highs that has a Kyudo or Japanese archery club. Now unfortunately we can't go inside, it's closed off, but maybe I can sneak around the corner there a bit and show you the inside of the Kyudo hall. Okay, so can you see the dirt over there? That's where the targets would be. Okay, and then over here is where the archers would stand and practice. Now because it's a very sacred place, everything is closed off against the elements right now, so that the wood on the floor and whatnot doesn't get warped. Because you do everything barefoot, and believe me, if you've ever done anything barefoot on warped wood, you get splinters and all sorts of fun stuff. So, that was the Kudo Hall. Okay. We're going to go back this way, and this will be the final leg of our tour of Nishinkan. So glad you guys are coming with me on this, and those of you who are still watching, and those of you who've been watching all week, thank you very much. I really do appreciate it, as does the entire populace of Aizu. Oh, here we go. A stable. A stable. Saddle, etc. Our stable in here. Okay. Again, this is the other end of the queue. Ooh, I wonder if we can get in here. Hang on a sec. Ooh, it looks like we might be able to see. There we go. Alright. So you can come to a place like this and try it out. So it's not just coming and looking, you even get to try some of this stuff out. Now, I've tried Kudo before, and it's tough. The funny thing is, when I did it my way, I hit the target and almost hit a bullseye. But when I was supposed to do it the Kudo way, I didn't even get halfway to the target. So, there you go. Pretty interesting. Alright. Let's head out now. I see a lot of people doing the stare at me. Are you allowed to be doing this? Yes, I am allowed to be doing this. I've got permission from the Ministry of Foreign Affairs. Alright, so let's see. Where are we now? Yes, the observatory. Okay, here we go. Now, I have not been up to the observatory before. This will be a first for me. So let's get up the stairs here. Why is everything uphill while I'm here this week? Boy, you never know what you got till it's gone, right? Should have gotten my driver's license renewed so that I could drive instead of having to walk everywhere. But you know what? I love doing this. I love this place, and I'd do it again in a heartbeat without a second thought. Here we go. Alright, so the observatory, where students could study the stars, could look around the valley, etc., the basin. Lots of trees over here, but you can kind of sort of see off in the distance there. There's a good view. Okay, now at some point today, hopefully, if I can get there, because it's a lot farther away than I originally imagined, we are going to end up over there. There's the big white statue, Kanon-sama, the goddess that watches over the basin that is Aizu. It's a great big statue. You can see it from just about anywhere. I'd say within a 10-mile radius, maybe. It's one of the things I always look for when I get back to Aizu. As soon as I see the statue, I know I'm home. But anyway, hopefully we'll get there later on this afternoon. Here we go, back down the stairs. You know, while I'm walking, I will have to tell you this. And those of you who have been watching the posts and whatnot on the group might have read what Julian Villegas had to say about this being tainted with government propaganda. I will tell you something that I didn't know until today that gave me a second thought about what Julian said. As I'm sure anybody who's been following what's going on in Japan knows, there's two lines for the nuclear evacuation zone. The first one is only 30 kilometers radius from the factory, and that's the zone that the Japanese government has set. The other is the 80-kilometer zone, which is what the US government and the UN Nuclear Council has set. Now, what I learned today, and what I didn't pay attention to, is that if you extend the zone to 80 kilometers, and I'm going to turn the camera around here so you can see my face. What happens in Fukushima is that you take out 2 of the 4 main cities in Fukushima. See, the prefecture is politically and naturally divided into 3 sections. The outside coastal section, which is called Hamadori, the middle section, which is called Nakadori, and then the Aizu section, which is where I am. Now, the 30-kilometer zone basically extends to the eastern edge of Nakadori, which is that middle section. If you extend it to 80 kilometers, you make the zone all the way through the second section of the prefecture. Now, a lot of people would say, you know, yeah, that's not such a big deal, you know, we're worried about our health. But for the Japanese, it's an extremely big deal because Fukushima is the capital city of Fukushima. And Koriyama is a central, and we're talking very central, transportation hub to get to the coast on either side and up into the northern section of Japan. If the government had extended the evacuation zone as far as 80 kilometers, that would mean the capital city and the main central transportation hub to the northern section of the main island of Japan would have been empty. You wouldn't have been able to get north, period. The Shinkansen runs through there. There's no other Shinkansen that goes up north like that. The highways run right through there. No, well, there are some other highways, but you got to go way out on the coast and then way back. It's a pretty kind of silly way to go. So that's a really good reason, I think, why the government, the Japanese government, did not extend the zone like everybody suggested they do, because taking out those 2 cities wouldn't just mean a bad thing for the prefecture, it'd be a bad thing for the entire Tohoku section. Good reason, I think. But anyway, on the way out, they did have guns back in the day. This is a gun practice range. Okay? Now, my camera's getting kind of hot. You know, silly thing to do, buying a black camera to carry in your hands on some of the hottest days of the year. But oh well, you know what? I jokingly complain, but I would do this again in a heartbeat. I love this place. I love Aizu. If I didn't, I wouldn't be here. So now we are on our way to the exit, which the signs keep telling us. That sign right over there, if you can see it. That sign is Deguchi. That's exit. Okay. All right. Okay. This is a little present. Inside here is a little stone statue of a present from China to Nishinkan. Again, ringing the gong up there, like going to the shrine yesterday, waking up the gods and making your prayer. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is a small, quick tour of the Nishinkan Samurai School. Next post, hopefully, is going to be from one of my favorite restaurants in this area, a place called Baden Baden. Absolutely delicious food. I've eaten there so many times. The cook and the owner, I actually taught the owner's daughters. They came up through Kawahigashi Middle School, through Kawachu, so I know them as well. And they are great folks. The restaurant's good, the food is good. And there we go. So, see you in a few.